I'm Stephanie Howe, co-host of Get Inspired and Innovate, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to Fresh Air at 5, the podcast. I'm your host, Bryon Carpenter. Fresh Air at 5 is my regular attempt to exercise by walking about my neighborhood to take in podcast content, then reflect in an unedited video, which I finally post to my Twitter channel. This podcast will be a regular collection of the audio from these selfie videos. You can follow me on Twitter at FreshAirAtFive or check out my website, BryonCarpenter.com, for other content I have created and collected. Hey, welcome to episode 11 of Fresh Air at 5, the podcast, and this is the week of March 15th to 20th-ish. I think 19th is the end of the week, but this is my recordings for this week, and thanks for taking the time to check in and take a listen. Listening to a few things. Started off with, check this out, with Ryan and Bryon on their episode called That's Life. I've got a theme this week that I think is going to be coming out is the year anniversary of COVID and how teachers and podcasters have been doing. So I'm going to listen to a number of episodes of that. So that'll be a big part of this episode. All right. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned. Hey PLN, it's March 15th, Monday morning, and I'm out for Fresh Air at 5 later at about 8 o'clock in the morning. And this morning it's a beautiful sunny day here. Spring forward brought the daylight up later, but that's okay because I caught it. This morning it's apparently, according to Ryan and Bryon from Check This Out podcast, episode 100 and I think 79. That's a lot of episodes, gentlemen. Maybe wrong. I'll have it in the tweet properly, but they talked about their episode's called That's Life, and at the top Bryon brought forward that this is National Napping Day, and seeing as it's spring break, maybe I'll go home and have a nap. I probably won't, but it's a good idea. It's an option in the back pocket today that I don't have to feel guilty about having a nap because I'm not doing anything, but because I'm celebrating National Napping Day. So that's super fun. I just listened to that episode of Check This Out, That's Life with Ryan and Bryon, and they just sit down and they talk about life and how life has been and the challenges that they've been facing and the things that they've been doing. What they haven't been listening to is because, they haven't done any of that because Ryan's crazy busy with his 6th iteration since the beginning of COVID of how he has to deliver instruction. Ryan, that is just unheard of. I'm thankful that I've only on my 2nd iteration at this point at our district, which is thankful. We are back face to face with our students in a kind of a split manner, but it hasn't changed since September. So I'm thankful for that. Some classrooms have been shut down due to COVID, but others are back. Everybody's in. My kids are in school, and so I'm thankful for that. All right, I'd like you to check this out. Your items you brought forward, and I'm going to have to check out wonder.me for a conferencing space. I've heard of Kumo Space as well. I haven't used either, but I'll have to see what's going on because I'm involved in some conference planning, and that might be good for like lunchtime or something like that, or maybe just on a Friday night I can get together with my buds and give it a go and see what happens, play some games. All right, gents, appreciate it. Happy Monday. It's my spring break. I'm looking forward to some chill time. Okay, bye. Hey PLN, it's March 16, 2021, and I'm out here for Fresh Air at 5, not at 5, but in the middle of the day. And my wife and I are out in the forest here in Port Moody, enjoying the scenery and a nice walk in the woods. So today I didn't listen to any podcasts, and I'm not going to listen to any podcasts, but you know what? This is a great day to take it easy and reflect and think about how things have been going. And it's been spring break now. I'm enjoying my day off, and I'm finally relaxing and settling into relaxing. You know, it takes a few days once you get going on a vacation to relax and to just chill out. So yes, it's been beautiful. On Saturday, we went out snowshoeing in the mountains and went up to Windy Joe in Manning Park. Enjoyed that a lot with our friends, so that was quite fantastic. All right, that's it for today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. What are you doing for fun today? What are you doing for yourself today? Are you getting some fresh air? We're getting fresh air. Okay, bye. Hey, PLN, it's Wednesday, March 17th, 2021. You know what that means? It's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you. I'm going to celebrate a little later. Go down to that little Scottish place. It's not Irish, but I'm going to get me a shamrock shake at McDonald's and enjoy that a bit later today. But right now, I'm out for fresh air at 5. Out walking, got up a bit later, and you know, I'm sleeping in a bit as it's spring break, and that's okay. I'm still getting out for my walk, and I'm still listening to podcasts, and I'm still learning, and you know, I'm enjoying my spring break. I've been tying flies, planning on going fishing in May up country here in British Columbia at some lakes, and so I've been tying flies and getting prepped for that. I'm enjoying that process of being creative and all those things. Okay, so this morning on Fresh Air at 5, I'm listening to Reflect Ed episode 11 as the Biancos share a bit of their story. So AJ, the host of Reflect Ed, talks with his wife Jamie about her journey this past year and the highs and lows and what makes her tick, and her reflection on the year that was 2020 up until now, so that whole year since March of last year, and her talking about teaching remotely and building relationships. And I think it's so primary that relationships are a building block to engagement. If we can have a way that we can build relationships through simple little fun things, you know, I do in the morning with my students in my building, I do a would you rather question. Would you rather red or blue? Simple as that. They're like, well, it depends on what? And I'm like, of course it depends, so just choose. And it's a fun thing that we do just to build relationships and build that rapport. So thank you, Jamie, for sharing your thoughts. My thoughts are this. Going forward, teachers need to work on building relationships with their students and relax if they don't get to all of it. Easy for me to say, I'm not a math teacher, but that's my thought. So relax. With you having good relationships, you can go far and go fast. All right, have a good day. Okay, thanks guys. Bye-bye. One more thing for March 17th, 2021. Happy St. Patrick's Day again. I listened to episode 61 of Define University as Lindsay Titus talks to us about her year that was between the two marches. And Lindsay, this is something that's been rattling around in my head as well. And I've been thinking about it and reflecting on it and going, it hasn't been a bad year. It has been a challenging year. Doesn't mean that it's bad. Challenging things are not bad things. Hard things are not bad things. We grow in the hardness by working through the challenges, and we gain strength and capacity through hard things. I think back to learning to walk, and I don't actually remember this, but I watch little ones learn to walk, and they fall down and they get up, and it's hard and they cry. But you know what? Without going through that process, instead of being teleported beyond that process, we would never learn to walk. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for sharing your thoughts. I'm going to pass this along to the people in my PLN and tell them to take a listen, because you did it so eloquently, and I'm not going to say, hey, that's my year as well. I do need to sit down and blog about my year that was, so that I can record it and write it down so that I can look back and go, yes, it was. It was good. It was there, and we are now here. And in the moment, like you said, I think it's about being present in the moment, and that you're perfect in the moment when you're there. Thanks so much, Lindsay. Appreciate you. Have a fantastic day. And everybody, go take a listen to episode 61 of Define University podcast. Okay, bye-bye. One more thing for March 17th, 2021. I just wrapped up listening to the Good News, Brad News show as Brad Hughes talks with fellow educator and counselor Brad D. Hughes out of Rhode Island, New Hampshire? Nope, Massachusetts. I don't know. It's Rhode Island. And Brad Hughes, thank you for sharing your story and talking with each other and encouraging us today. As you know, this thing we do is hard. It's important work that we do with children as we bring them along and encourage them and talk about life. Thanks, gents, for the encouragement. Brighten my day, just like the sunshine shining behind me, and appreciate the work that both of you do in your spaces in the world, out in Ontario and in northeastern United States. So, have you ever looked up your name on Google? Have you ever taken a look to see who else has your namesake? So I have done so back a long time ago, and there was a Bryon Carpenter who was an artist out of Texas, and that was a long time ago. Haven't done so recently, but I think that my presence on the internet with social media has taken over those top spots. But still, we should go look to see who else is out there with our namesake. So thank you, Brad Hughes, for your work and for sharing and for connecting, and Brad D. Hughes for finding Brad Hughes, the podcast host with the Good News, Brad News show. Fantastic. Have a great day, gents, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Okay, bye-bye. Hey PLN, it's March 18th, 2021, and I'm out here for Fresh Air at 5 this morning, enjoying the sunrise and the light coming up in my neighborhood. It's a beautiful day, crisp. It's probably about 6 degrees, wind's blowing slightly, you might be able to hear, but it's a great day, and I'm looking forward to another spring break day where I am. And I got some things to do, clean up the garage, do some emails, do some content creation and things like that. So yes, there we are. All right, this morning as I'm walking, I listened to House of Ed Tech episode 175 as Chris Nessie brings it to us. And this is, congratulations, Chris, hitting 175. That's a lot of episodes and a lot of content that you've created and had an impact on this guy here, out here in Abbotsford, British Columbia on the West Coast. I want to say thank you to you for the impact you're making by producing content and having House of Ed Tech on my podcatcher. All right, so Chris, episode 175 brings to us the following. Don't be a boring teacher. Do something that is not boring. If your kids are bored, figure it out. Figure out how to change it. He says that more eloquently than I just did. He also talks about how we need to be, our personal learning network as opposed to our professional development, and looking at how we develop personally as educators and people, and how that will take it to our profession. I believe there is a significant connection between profession and personal, and our passions and our positional spaces that we are in. So professional is different than positional, because positional is my specific teacher job at the Abbotsford Virtual School, compared to professional, I am an educator and a learner. And so, yes, that's significantly important. Then later with the main event, Chris talks with AJ Bianco about the year that was this past year of 2020, AJ's journey and the learning that they've both done. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much, gents, and peace out. Have a great day. Listen to Reflect Ed as well. Okay, bye. One more thing for March 18th, 2021. Just back from delivering papers with my daughter this morning, and it's a beautiful morning out. I listened to My Ed Tech Life with Fonz as he talks to Luis Petrus. I'm sorry, Luis, if I got your name wrong, but on episode 61 of My Ed Tech Life. And Luis is talking about work-life balance, and with COVID and how we are at home, that there has been an expectation by some administrators, and shame on you for expecting your teachers to be on 24/7 and available all the time. And Luis, in his role as a tech coach, has had to set boundaries for responding to teachers' emails and messages and requests for help at all hours of the night, expecting them expecting him to get back to them. And that's so very important that, we have these balance and this boundaries for ourselves so that we can make sure that we are being effective educators. Use the tools that we have, use the technology that we have, snooze emails. If you see something come through in the evening, one of my favorite things on Gmail is to take and press snooze till tomorrow morning. That's me acknowledging that it's there, but not me doing something about it. And I don't have to be checking to be snoozing. I could just wait until tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock to look at that. But my personal life, I do the same thing, that if I've got something that's come through that is somebody sends me something and I'm like, well, I'm watching TV right now, I'm not going to deal with that because I'm spending time with my family, I press snooze till tomorrow morning. So thank you, Fonz and Luis, for your thoughts. Appreciate your creativity in being educators, and thanks for sharing with the community on My EdTech Life, episode 62. All right. Maybe 52. I think 52. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Talk to you guys. Bye. APLN Friday, March 19th, 2021, and we're at the end of the week. For me, this is the Friday of my first week of spring break, and I'm so thankful to have had this time this past week. There are others that are not done yet for spring break, and others that are still even 2 or 3 weeks out, which is strange to me because that's not the world that I live in. So yes, you've made it to here. I hope you're enjoying your rest if you're on spring break. I hope you're enjoying teaching if you're not on spring break. And keep on going. You only have a few more hours to go until you get to the end of Friday. All right, this morning as I'm out on Fresh Air at 5, I was listening to Sons of Technology with Joe Marquez and Kyle Anderson and Tyler Kiefler, I think, from Idaho, as they talked about the year that was and looking back and reflecting on how things have changed and happened since March 13th of 2020. And that's the real Black Friday, as Tyler calls it. And it was a dark day, but you know what? Looking back, we have seen a lot of things happen and change and grow. And I'm not saying that COVID has been easy. It's been very hard. It's challenged our relationships. It's challenged our face-to-face time. It's challenged how we do things depending on whether you're an introvert or you're an extrovert. My wife is an introvert, and she is so content to not to have to be out and about because of restrictions. Me, drives me crazy. That's partly why I'm doing this right now, is so that I can have connections and connect with people. Thank you, gentlemen, for your thoughts about hybrid and going back and not cutting prep time. Teaching online is really hard. It takes a lot of effort, a different kind of effort than in the class effort. And if we're asking teachers to do both at the same time, that's really brutal. So admins, take time to listen to that and hear that. Thanks, guys. Happy Friday. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Fresh Air at 5 for the week of March 15th to 19th. This is at the end of episode 12. And as we wrap up this week's listening, I want to leave you with this. You're doing a great job. Keep on doing that great job. We listened to this week's stories of how the past year has been. That's the theme of this episode, as we have taken time to listen to technology stories. We've listened to stories of struggle from people's personal lives. And we've also talked about how we need to stay vigilant and true to this thing that we call education, that we really believe in. You're doing a great job. Have a fantastic day. And get out and get out and hope you're getting some fresh air in the meantime, because fresh air helps your brain, helps you think, and is good for you. Take care. Happy day. Bye-bye. As my one word for 2021 is appreciate, I appreciate you giving me a listen as I've created this podcast experience for you. It's a unique Blinkist or Coles Notes version of the content I take in, like a highlight reel, so that you can hopefully find other interesting podcasts you may not have considered before. I've recorded the specific podcast episodes in the show notes for your learning convenience. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. And if you enjoy this podcast and its format, share it with someone else. Tweet about your experience or give it a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. Fresh Air at 5 can also be found on Voice Ed Radio. Your voice is right here, and on the Education Podcast Network, Podcasts for Educators, Podcasts by Educators. I hope you have a fantastic day and get some fresh air before the day is out, and take care of yourself because you're worth it.